demystifying the complexities of the Singapore legal system, one conversation at a time. In our brand new series for our conversation, we go beyond the jargon to bring you Legally Speaking. Join me for an exclusive recurring residency with one of Singapore's most seasoned legal minds. Each season, our resident guest is given free rein to dissect the legal topics that matter most to you. From navigating civil disputes to understanding your rights in an ever-changing landscape. And joining me now for our very first session of Legally Speaking is our new resident guest, Boey Swee Siang. With over 30 years of experience at the bar and currently at the helm of his own firm, Boey brings a wealth of wisdom and a sharp, unfiltered perspective to the show. He is a dispute specialist with extensive international arbitration experience, having represented clients in high-value corporate disputes across the globe. From the High Court of Singapore to the Court of Appeal, he's seen it all. We welcome Boey Swee Siang to the residency and to the hot seat.
Yeah, it depends on the terms of the injunction, but it's possible.
It's possible?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well, that's good to know. It's really good to know. So at least the business can fight back.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not a fully one-way street, right? It never is.
I don't know. Sometimes I better not say that. Okay, don't want to say. Don't get myself into trouble.
Why do you get puff, ma?
Hi everyone. We need your help. Please watch this video until the end. We do our best for each episode to really deliver as much value as we can. And our guests who make the time to come here, well, we need to give them the respect as well to really sit down and have a good conversation. And conversations, as conversations go, they take time. So we really ask you to please watch each video until the end. We need the hours in order for us to continue producing more and more episodes on the Chris Hansen Conversation. Please enjoy this conversation. Before we begin the show, here is an important announcement. For 100 years, Shure has set the standard for professional audio. Designed to outlast and outperform, Shure products help you deliver your message with confidence. Trust in Shure. You can be sure with Shure. Shop the Shure Shop Singapore now. Visit the link on screen and use the promo code AFC Hansen to get limited Shure merchandise with your purchases. Now, let's start the show. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Chris Hansen Conversation. We are back for a very brand new series. I've got a couple of brand new ones this season, and this is one of them. This is Legally Speaking with my friend and my guest in the studio. You've heard the intro earlier on, he is the legal eagle professional, a real veteran in the field of the law in Singapore, and I have with me Boey Swee Siang. Welcome to the studio, my friend.
Thank you, Chris.
And if you guys have got any questions to ask, you're most welcome to comment at the end of this episode. Just go to CCB TV podcast under this episode. Put in your comments. If you have any questions, please do fire away. Okay, and I will make sure that Boey knows what these questions were or are, and he will be responding to them eventually. So please feel free to comment and or ask any questions, please. And of course, pertaining to more so law here in Singapore, okay? So, Boey, welcome to the studio. Welcome to your very first episode on the very first Legally Speaking series. How have you been?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on, Chris. Very, very glad to be on your show. You've got a great series going on for quite a number of years. And it's quite an honor for me to be.
Pleasure's all mine, my friend. Pleasure's all mine, man. Let's have this conversation. We know today we're going to talk about the war of the decibels, neighbor disputes. One of my favorite topics, to be honest, one of my pet bloody peeve. Not because I'm on the spectrum of, that side of the spectrum where I am the neighbor complaining about loud noises. I am the one that don't like neighbors complaining about loud noises. How you go figure that one out, man. You've handled international arbitrations. Sometimes the most high stakes disputes happen right next door. So why do noise complaints often become so toxic and personal?
Yeah. Well, it's high stakes disputes for people, who stay, in their homes and after
Suck
a
on
long
their
day
thumbs.
at work. Yeah.
Okay,
Well, no,
I'm just being biased. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After a long day at work,
Uh-huh.
we all want to go back to our
Yeah.
homes, enjoy peace and quiet, right?
Yeah.
And then they get neighbors like you.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
I nope.
who are noisy.
If I make any noises in this soundproof room, man.
In this soundproof room, where all the noise escapes and everybody is saying, "Oh, well, I don't know, I've got such an inconsiderate neighbor." It gets to you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, it affects people. I'm sure that you've read about these neighbor disputes
Yeah.
and regularly featured in the papers where
Yes, in fact, we got one. Can we flash that one up, please, Kai? We got one here. I think this is very recent. There you go. Yep, that's the one. Yeah. So loud banging la, this, that la, and everybody at the copy kabula.
And the thing is, sometimes when you complain to the neighbor gets annoyed with your complaint, and the problem is that each person has got his or her a point of view, and then the dispute gets worse, right? Yeah.
But then again, the only thing is part and parcel of our culture here in Singapore. People like to complain about it, just about everything. Look, when you're on the road, right, and sometimes when you honk at someone when you're driving, right, and you're behind a car, for example, and the guy just didn't know that the light is turned green, and you just give a gentle honk, and that guy gets upset with you. I mean, there's no other way for you to do it but to honk. But people get upset even for something like that. So I mean,
but in situations like that, Chris, that seldom escalates into something further than a couple of hand gestures at each other. Right?
That's bad enough, right?
Yeah, that's bad enough. But then the thing is, if you've got this constant issue with your neighbor, that very often escalates.
So the key point here is that constant issue is consistent all the time.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, look, if it's just 1 or 2 days, your neighbor has got a birthday party, right? They got lots and lots of people coming. They have a good time. It's noisy for 1 evening, and you usually, most of us, usually don't have an issue with that because it's once in a blue moon.
Right.
It's the constant noise issue. It's the constant. It could be other things. It could be other things apart from noise.
Right.
Noise is the most common, but it could be smells. Some people don't like the smell of other people's cooking, right?
Gosh.
Yeah. It could be other things. I mean, you also read a lot of newspaper reports about people who have a lot of plants, right, along the common walkway, and that annoys their neighbors as well. So it could be a lot of other things.
Yeah, but by my own experience, you raise two things here.
Yeah.
Other than noise, you're talking about the smells of cooking.
Yeah.
And different cultures have got different kind of cuisine.
Sure.
So I know what you're talking about. Like, for example, a very famous story a couple of years ago, some time ago, as a matter of fact, of the Indian family that was cooking curry, and then the other Chinese neighbor made a complaint about it because they cannot stomach the smell.
Yeah.
But don't you think that there ought to be this word called tolerance, that people should just tolerate? Yeah. You can't tell an Indian fella of Indian family to stop cooking their cuisine.
Yeah. I agree. I completely agree. No, you see, I mean, look, we live in a country where there's high density of population. Right? I mean, we are all living one on top of the other, and all squeezed into condos or HDB flats, and there has to be give and take.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a situation where some people were telling me, well, I can't stand the fact that I have to smell the incense from my neighbors every day because every morning they burn joss sticks, right? And I tell them, look, if you don't like it, then close your windows, right? I mean, it's people have to be reasonable.
Yeah.
And they have to have a certain sense of give and take, because you can't have everything always conforming to what you want, because you're living in a community. You're not just living by yourself. If you can't stand the smell of other people's cooking, you can't stand the volume of their talking, then you shouldn't be living in very
In the community.
in a very dense area, where you're surrounded by other people.
Go
right?
buy yourself a GCB.
yeah, if you can afford it.
Precisely. If not, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Okay. And then the other thing you raised besides the smells, what was that? There was food. It was
potted plants along
the potted plants.
the common walkway,
I also know someone who's got beautiful plants. Really, really beautifies that walkway.
Yeah.
But that walkway is actually, it doesn't impede into the neighbors.
No.
It's out there in the common property, but doesn't impede into the neighbors or anyone for that matter. Still get complaints. And I think there's envy. It's to me, my opinion is that was probably the likelihood of the complaints because they're envious. Maybe they don't have green fingers, I mean, in the end, I just feel that it has to be just about tolerance.
To a certain extent, that's true. But if you look at it this way, also, the government has also, or rather, the HDB has also taken certain steps, for those who live in high density housing with green fingers, and then there are some very nice plots outside in the common areas where the HDB has said, okay, we leave aside these plots for community gardens.
Right.
And that's very nice. Of course, if you really do want to bring your gardening hobby into your house, the best place, of course, will be your own balcony. But of course, if you want to put the plants outside in the common walkway, that's okay. But I think, again, it's a question of give and take. I understand that some people have got very nice plants and they beautify the walkway. And if the neighbors don't have a problem with that, that's fine. But if somebody has a problem with that, then it's time to sit down and talk with that person. What's your problem? How do we solve it? You see, before going to a lawyer, the best thing with any dispute is try and resolve it.
Of course.
Themselves. Yeah.
I will go, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Why are you even upset to begin with? Why do you need to complain? You can always come and talk to me. I don't have this problem. Get me the wrong way. And no, I do not make any noise at all for information. Late in the night, no way.
No?
No, I don't. Of course not. Okay. I do not. No, I do not.
You don't do Elvis impersonations in the middle of the night?
In the studio when no one can hear me, when we often hear about the CMC, the Community Mediation Center, at what point does a neighborly chat move from taking it out to formal mediation? Okay,
well, I think the CMC, when you reach the stage of the CMC, things have gone pretty far already. The CMC is meant for neighbors who are having disputes with each other to go through a more formal process of mediation to try and resolve their issues. So before you go to the CMC, you've got to show them that you have already tried, to resolve your issue.
Oh, really? Between yourselves?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that hasn't worked. And so you make the application. Yeah.
So it's gotten serious, basically.
It's gotten quite serious, and then you try to resolve it, by way of a more formal mediation process through the the Ministry of Community Culture.
So whatever outcomes, the CMC certainly would have to come to a point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and whatever outcomes they come up with, it has to be abided to.
No. CMC is a mediation process.
Right.
So what happens is that there is mediation, and both parties have to then agree.
Right.
You see, when there's a dispute between two parties, they try and resolve it between themselves. If they cannot resolve it between themselves, they can try to get it mediated. Now, a mediation is a process where a third party, a mediator, will try to get both parties to see, so to speak, the other side's point of view.
Right.
And try and see whether there's some kind of compromise. Now, very often, when parties negotiate between themselves, they've got their own entrenched positions. So the mediator will try and break down those walls, try to bring them together.
So their role is just to mediate. They can't force one party to be quiet.
No.
They can't do that.
No.
Okay. That's quite clear now. let me give you a scenario.
Mm.
Let's talk about a commercial entity.
Yeah.
Okay. A neighborhood bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
They're given a license, an entertainment license, and to have music to be played, band and all that. Yeah. And it has got to end on the dot at a certain time, say 11 p.m.
Sure.
The license is only to have this sort of entertainment on certain days of the week, usually, weekends and stuff.
Mm.
Now, there is a certain decibel that they're not supposed to exceed.
Sure.
But it's very grey. Because I know for a fact that there is a particular neighborhood, I'm not going to mention where, where a particular neighbor who claims to be representing the entire neighborhood,
Sure.
which I find it quite hard to swallow,
Sure.
and who comes around and flashes a decibel meter and say you're way above. But then again, it is also quite relative, right? Where if you're saying that the noise bothers you, then you got to examine the decibel from where you are. You come into the place, and if you were to take the meter reading there, it's not very fair, isn't it?
Okay.
So that area is very grey. Where should the reading be done? From where you are, where you say the noise is bothering you, or from within the premise, which certainly it will go beyond that. There is no way to keep those decibels, by the way.
Okay.
If you have entertainment like a band playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I go there, you were asking earlier about the issue of whether the CMC is able to issue orders to bind
right.
One of the parties. That's beyond the CMC. If you don't get a settlement at CMC level, then go to the dispute resolution tribunal.
Oh, there's another level up.
Yeah. And then that one, is those are like proceedings where the tribunal actually does have power to issue orders like injunctions to stop somebody from.
This is not court, right?
No, it's not a court. It's a tribunal. It is a community tribunal where lawyers are not allowed. So people like me, we won't appear to represent the parties. The parties in dispute represent themselves.
How come? How come lawyers not allowed?
Well, I think it's a question of the authorities deciding that actually because this is a community dispute and you're looking at not a commercial dispute. It doesn't involve large amounts of money, and justice should be affordable and accessible to the man in the street.
Right.
Lawyers are not allowed because otherwise, if each side lawyers up there, it becomes very expensive. You've got legal costs, flying here and there.
Okay.
The procedure is much more. It's much simpler than court proceedings, and it's meant to be community justice.
Okay.
But there is power by the tribunal to impose an injunction, for example, to stop the person, from being noisy, from being a nuisance, his or her neighbor.
Right.
Yeah. Then going on to the question about,
No, hang on. I'm sorry. I need to stop you there before we go to that question.
Okay.
So, the way you put it across just now is as though the person who has been complained against for allegedly making that much noise is already guilty by...
No. What I'm saying is, if there is a hearing by the tribunal and the tribunal finds that person
so the person still has an opportunity,
of course,
to say that perhaps maybe this is personal, or it would be an avenue, wouldn't it?
Correct.
Yeah,
No. It's a fair hearing,
right?
Yeah?
Okay.
And both sides have the right to be heard.
Okay.
So the it's not as if the complainant will always get his or her way.
Right.
The tribunal can find that this complaint has really no basis, and dismiss the complaint.
Right. Right. Yeah. But if it's a commercial entity like the one I just mentioned, I mean, this particular commercial, this CMC, right, or even this tribunal, it's not relevant to this case, right?
No, that will be for a community dispute, essentially between neighbors. I mean, you can't even
but
go to
this is a
CMC
neighborhood bar, though it's a commercial entity within a neighborhood.
Well, it's a question of where the bar is, right?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure that, technically speaking,
whether or not it would fall under this sort of
neighborhood bar, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a bar is a business, wherever it's
and governed by this relevant authorities.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
The police, for example, because when you have a public entertainment license, then you're subject to all the rules and regulations, relating to the issuance of that license. You've got to abide by that. So if you're talking about the decibel level in an entertainment outlet, then we are looking at it's a commercial establishment.
Right.
Then we are looking at certain rules which will govern the noise level. Essentially, you go back to the rules and regulations for the public entity.
Yeah, but what if it's silent? I'm to be fair, I don't know exactly what's in those rules, but from what I have been told, allegedly, that it just says this amount of decibels, and it cannot exceed that amount of decibels, but it doesn't say from where.
Yeah.
Measured where.
Yeah.
It is impossible. All logic and common sense would tell you if that's going to be the decibel you're talking about, it's impossible to be metered or measured inside the premises because it's going to be too soft having an entertainment license will be pointless if that's the case. You know what I mean? So that's where the gray area is, and then people would just willy-nilly use this so-called power they assume they have and wave it in your face.
Yeah. Well, that's an issue, Chris, because actually the thing is, if it says that your business can only generate noise level up to X decibels, right? Let's say 65 decibels. It would be understood that it's the noise level within your establishment. Would be within your establishment. I understand what you're saying about but I mean, like when you're staying like 3 blocks away, it's not going to be the same sound level. I understand that, but the intention is that you're allowed to generate this level of noise, so that your neighbor won't be disturbed too much, right? I mean, we all have to be, again, as I said, reasonable. If you stay next to a pub, it's natural that you expect some noise. The question, of course, is whether that noise level then it's what is catered for under the license public entertainment.
On the hypothesis that, okay, let me just give you a little bit more context.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, this particular establishment has been given a warning that you've got to do something about this. Otherwise, the next time when your license is up for renewal, it will not be renewed.
Right.
And of course, they won't tell you what to do. But they want to have you tell them by a particular date what they are prepared to do. So, assuming you are their lawyer, they come to you, and what would you say to them?
Well, essentially, I will tell them, look, you have to keep within that noise level. There are no two ways about it.
Okay.
Yeah, because those are the regulations under which you must operate and are bound by the right. There are various things which you can try to do. You can try and see whether you could put in more soundproofing.
Okay.
You can do things like possibly lower the
Amplitude.
Yeah, that's right. Mic. You can change the public entertainment hours where the bands are actually having them perform at something like that. So those will be things which I will try to explore with my clients if they came to this kind of problem.
Right. Okay. What are the specific legal quiet hours in Singapore for commercial as well as residential areas?
Okay, it's different between commercial and residential areas. Commercial, it's much more straightforward because those are actually stipulated between, I think, 7 to 11. Yeah, you are allowed higher noise level.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. that noise level has to be reduced.
That is residential.
No,
commercial.
That's commercial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For residential, the hours where you are not supposed to carry out activities which are noisy, like for example, you shouldn't be doing drilling. Like if you are doing home improvements for yourself, don't do any drilling, don't do any hammering. Loud noises between, I think, 7:30. 10:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. Yeah, but but for residential areas, it's not legislated. There's I don't think that there's regulation. There are guidelines, HDB guidelines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But those are not. It's not legislature. It's not law. Right. Okay.
But they're guidelines. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But of course, if you make a lot of noise and you're creating a nuisance, that's just when people can go to the police. The police will give you a knock on the door. Not you, of course, but for people who are creating.
I know I look like a trucker, okay, but then again, I don't go honk honk, I do not have a truck.
I'm sure you don't. At least not in here. But
not even downstairs, right? Yeah. Not in the car park either.
No, but if you're blasting loud music, right, then your neighbor can complain. And at 1 or 2
I mean, okay, I find it a little ludicrous. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a real thing that happened many years ago, when we were living in a condo.
Yeah, okay.
And an 11-year-old kid was having a birthday party.
Yeah.
That was 2:00 in the afternoon by the swimming pool, and the kids were playing, and then this grouch of a neighbor who lives just a couple of floors in a block next to the pool called the cops 3 times.
Okay.
2:00, and we have security, mind you.
Right.
And he had to call the cops.
Right.
2:00. I think another one came at 6+. Another one came at 8:00. And we kept telling the police, listen, it's a kid's birthday party. And they looked and they had this little wry smile every time they come around. Like, we know, but we still have to come.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not even 10:30 p.m.
Sure.
And so on that note, right? Let's say
was it very noisy?
No. And on the weekend, kids in the swimming pool, especially if it's a birthday party, what do you want? What do you expect?
Yeah.
So it's so people like that exist, right? That's a toxicity you get in neighborhoods. But what happens for a business owner being targeted by toxic neighbors like that? How do they prove that the complaints are exaggerated or even malicious?
Well, at the end of the day, as I said, if that business, that public entertainment business, is able to keep the decibels, within the parameters of the license, then that shouldn't be a problem, right?
Let's say they've done that.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting. Let's say they've done that. Right? Let's say they soundproof the place, and it's still within the decibels. But the same monkey keeps complaining. That's the toxic neighbor. I'm talking about a toxic neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Is there legal recourse for, say, harassment by complaints?
Yeah. Look, if that neighbor is trying to harass them, then you could possibly see a lawyer and see, what are the circumstances, of the complaint.
I got a lawyer here right now, man. What do you think? What will you do?
Well, I think, there could possibly be, some kind of recourse under the Prevention from Harassment Act.
Okay.
Yeah.
POHA.
Under the POHA, yeah. But again, all of this will depend on the circumstances, on what has actually happened. But there is that possible recourse.
So there is a recourse.
Yeah.
Under POHA.
Yeah. If that conduct actually can possibly, of that toxic neighbor can possibly amount to harassment. We'll need to see the circumstances.
Okay, on the assumption, again, another hypothetical, okay? On the assumption that the case is won, the toxic neighbor is found guilty. Is that the right word to use, guilty, in this instance?
Liable.
Okay, thank you very much. See, that's why I need you around now. Liable. The toxic neighbor is found liable. What would the possible, what's the word for it, outcomes be from the court?
Okay, there are various outcomes, including an injunction, to stop the harassing behavior.
Yeah. By calling the cops all the time, we can stop that, the person?
Yeah.
Oh,
You can injunct that person from.
That can happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And including like formal complaints be written up to say, for example, I'm just throwing this out there, URA and all kinds of authorities governing, businesses, even that particular business, even they could be stopped after the court order.
Yeah, it depends on the terms of the injunction. Yeah, but it's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well that's good to know. It's really good to know. So at least the business can fight back.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not a fully one-way street, right? It never is.
I don't know. Sometimes I better not say that. Okay, don't want to say. Don't get myself into trouble. Okay.
Why do you get POFMA?
Okay. I wasn't even alluding to anything. Okay. Oh my goodness. This is scary. When it comes to, let's take this example, okay? Modified vehicles. So recently, there have been some complaints in my neck of the woods. And by the way, I hear this idiot all the time.
Yeah.
There's this particular car that's been souped up, and it's around my neighborhood.
It's illegal, huh?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. So modified vehicles, okay, or with their loud engines. The onus on the citizen to report it. Is the onus on the citizen to report it? Or is there a specific threshold? Well, LTA or NEA takes the lead.
Okay, now all vehicles after a certain age have to be inspected annually by the LTA. So, the theory is that because of this inspection, the incidence of cars being modified will be much reduced. But there will be some people who will do it still. In that case, the LTA won't be around all the time. You hardly see, enforcement officers of any nature, wandering around our neighborhoods. We are not a police state after all. It's a very pregnant silence.
Yeah, I was wondering why too. It's only my laughter there.
Yeah. So the thing is, it's not so much the onus of the citizens to report this, but it is the prerogative of the citizens if they are aware that there could well be a vehicle.
Yeah, but you also know that these guys who mod their engines, right? Before they go send a car in for inspection, when it's up for inspection, they go back to the regular workshop, take out the modifications, go there, get it inspected, get passed, get cleared, come back and remodify.
Yeah, but you can make a complaint. Yeah. If you've got the vehicle number, you've got the evidence. Okay. Then you can
be the snitch.
Yeah, be the snitch.
Be the snitch.
As I said, it's your prerogative if you want to snitch.
Blow that whistle.
Yeah.
Okay, I said whistle. Construction noise is a constant.
I didn't get the whistle part.
Good for you. You've always been a decent kid. Okay. If any one of you got that what I just said, you're not that decent. Okay. Construction noise is a constant in Singapore.
Yeah.
What are the unbreakable rules regarding Sunday and PH?
Okay. Sundays and public holidays, contractors are not allowed to work. Yeah. Yeah, there's no two ways about it.
Including in HDB estates.
Including HDB estates.
I know for a fact in private condos, there's no way, it's a no completely. And Saturdays, I think after 12 noon.
Okay, now in terms of condos, the MCSD of each condo does make up its own rules, and it can impose, longer timelines to stop contract work, construction work from happening. Yes, by using their bylaws. So it could be that in your particular condo, they stop all construction work at 12 noon. Yeah, but otherwise it's Sundays and public holidays.
Right. Yeah. So that's across the board, lah. In Singapore,
it's across the board. So whether you're staying in HDB flat or you're staying in a landed property, no construction work is supposed to be carried out.
The reason why I ask all these questions especially about the timings and all that, public service lah, every now and then I must play the good guy.
Sure.
And tell everybody out there, don't make noise at these times, huh? Other times, I don't know, I can still cannot complain, huh? Tell you first, huh? Rewind back and listen to what Boey said.
Once a blue moon, you do community service.
Yeah, once in a... I looked out of my window and I looked up the sky yesterday and I saw the moon. Yeah. Little bit blue. Okay. Late night parties.
Yes.
Social activities, okay?
Yeah.
Doesn't it fall into a grey area? Like I talked about the birthday party of a little girl. And let's say in a condo.
Yeah.
The MCSD, do they have more power than the police in these instances? Or is it just determined by their bylaws?
No. I don't know what you mean by power, right? I mean, the police...
Go there and tell you, turn it off right now, all you disperse now.
Okay, now that depends on what the bylaws say, right? The bylaws may well say, that residents who are holding parties may have to surrender the barbecue pit or the function room back, by a certain time. And if the bylaws say that, then that can be enforced by the security guard.
No. I'm saying that they still have plenty of time.
Oh, okay.
Let's say they booked the place for 6 hours. You're only 2 hours in.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And it's still kind of early. Yeah. And they come and they say that there's a lot of complaints about noise. You're pack up now and out you go. You paid for it. You're a resident. Can that happen? I know the cops can do that.
Yeah. Cops can do that. Yeah. I suppose that the security guards, if they want to, they can do that. If there's really too much disturbance going on and residents complain, but in my experience, it has never happened to me before. I mean, I've attended a lot of parties in my friends' condos. That has never happened. What may have happened is that, at a certain time, let's say at 12 midnight, or I can't remember the time, the host was saying, okay, I only have the barbecue pit until this time. And so we took our party elsewhere.
Right. Okay. We talked about POHA, the Protection from Harassment Act. In your experience, what is the tipping point where a dispute becomes legally defined as harassment? Okay,
I think that the provisions in the POHA, they're very, very specific.
Okay.
There are different types of harassment. And each of them are specifically defined. If I remember correctly, sections 3 to 7 of the book.
Okay.
And it can include stalking.
Right.
It can include doxing.
Right.
It can include things like using threatening language, abusive language. Yeah.
Well, that can be included.
So
don't make me start. Okay. So if someone just does that once, right? Hurls a.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm free in my colorful linguistics.
Sure.
But I don't want to direct it that way because it's not very nice.
Yeah.
That could also constitute as.
Yes, it's possible.
Really,
but
even showing the birdie.
it depends on the circumstances, but yeah, it's possible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but usually it's language.
Language. I tell you.
But again, everything depends on circumstances,
Can't
right?
this be abused?
Huh?
Can't people just use this and abuse it?
No. Yes, you can, but again, as I say, all of this will depend on the circumstances. The courts are not. The courts are actually very savvy. They do look at the circumstances, and of course, when you've got people who are just simply quarreling with each other, or at the spur of the moment, you hurl a vulgarity or two. I think that's not
Harassment.
That's not harassment.
Yeah.
But in a certain situation, like for example, in an employment situation, where you have the boss, who constantly uses foul language, but even if that language is not directed at that particular employee, but that employee, is always within hearing distance of that foul language, and that employee then feels threatened, uncomfortable, it could possibly, amount to some kind of harassment.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Really? I need a drink. Should have poured whiskey into my glass.
Yeah. It's not too late.
I mean, circumstances like that.
Yeah.
Snowflakes.
Yeah. No. It's. I think it's not really fair to say it's a situation of snowflakes, because people do feel very threatened.
Hey, come on, man. We serve national service. We serve national service. That was our workplace during our time of conscription.
Yeah.
During enlistment.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we hear this all the time, everywhere, every time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, back in the day, I don't know about today, to be fair. I don't know about today, but back in the day. I mean, how could that be constituted as harassment?
Well,
just because of the way I feel?
Well, you were in the army when? In 1980...
Together with you lah.
89? Yeah, there was no POHA then.
I know.
Yeah.
So now that it exists, can this be used in in those kind of circumstances?
Again, you have to look at the circumstances,
silly,
right? You have to look at the circumstances, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the army is a special type of employment.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah. But if you go to the office, you don't expect, to be asked to do push-ups, right?
No lah, I'm not talking about that kind of thing. But you want, based on the example you gave just now.
Yeah, no. It's possible. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, EPO, the Expedited Protection Order. How difficult is it to obtain one if someone feels they're being monitored or stalked or by a disgruntled neighbor, for instance? How is it difficult to obtain an EPO?
No, I think I don't know what you mean by difficult. I mean,
is it like I want to actually ask for a protection order against a particular person?
Yeah.
Is it difficult to obtain one?
No, you go to a lawyer, and
this is what I want to know. What's the process? Yeah,
and the lawyer will then take your full instructions, and if the lawyer advises that yes, there's a basis for an expedited protection order, then yes, you go ahead with it. There's not. I mean, I would say
leave it to the lawyer to apply.
Yeah. It's not. It's you can do it yourself also if you can familiarize yourself with the procedure of doing so. It's not rocket science. People have represented themselves before, but the thing is, it's not difficult. I mean, so long as the elements, for getting the protection order are there, and you need it, and you can show the court why, you should be getting it on an expedited basis. And you get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vigilante culture in Singapore, as if we got. What was the movie you were watching just now? Daredevil, Batman, or whatever. Even neighbor.
Do we have these kinds of vigilantes in Singapore?
Yeah. And his secret weapon is the phone video.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I was just wondering. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I was getting a bit worried that Batman would suddenly swoop down from the trees. You know?
Singapore, that's vigilante culture, my goodness. In the case of Singapore, it's a guy with a handphone and a video function. Is it a neighbor posts a video of a business or individual online to shame them for noise? Does that fall under POHA or doxing?
Well, that depends again, right? I mean, that's what the lawyer will always tell you. It all depends on the circumstances, right? Yeah. Doxing is very specific.
Okay.
Right? Doxing is when a party posts the name, the contact details of his or her victim online, in the expectation that there could well be negative consequences for the victim, like for example that could endanger the victim.
Right.
Yeah. Now, if we have a situation like I've got a parking dispute with my neighbor, and then he starts filming me, and I start filming him, and we both post onto the
socials.
We both post onto on the social media. I'm not entirely sure that would amount to harassment under the POHA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're talking about your toxic neighbor who goes into this public entertainment venue and starts to film, well, I'm not so sure that that could that could amount to doxing. I really don't know.
Could that also be used on another topic then? Is it defamatory?
Well, it depends, right? I mean, if it's a question of whatever is being posted is has got statements or circumstances which bring down the reputation of the victim, so to speak, and that is not justified, it is untrue, then possibly it's defamatory. If there was an element of malice associated with that posting, then it could possibly be defamatory.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. Just a couple more questions.
Sure.
This is for our listeners and our viewers. So I'm really hoping you guys would really comment and ask questions at the end of the show, under the comment section in our channel for this episode. As our new resident guest for Legally Speaking, what is the one legal myth you are most eager to debunk for our listeners and our viewers?
I think, the biggest myth which a lot of people walk around with is that the law is somehow a distant thing to them. That it is something which you'd rather stay away from. Because all of us want to get on with our lives. We don't want any entanglements with the law. But actually, the law is all around us. It is what makes our lives livable.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's take a very simple example. Okay. Let's say after this recording session, right? Yeah. You want to go to the supermarket, right?
Okay.
So you go down to your car, you drive to the supermarket, you're driving on the left side of the road, right?
Okay.
Who regulates that? That's regulated by the laws.
Yeah.
If everybody drives any old how they want, you're going to get a lot of accidents. You go into the supermarket, you pick up what you want, you go to the counter, right? And you pay for your goods.
Yeah.
That's a contract between you and the supermarket. So
there's law governing that too. Yeah.
That's law, involved. So it permeates almost everything we do. The money which you pay, that's legal tender, right?
Yeah.
So
it comes under the purview of the MES.
well, yeah.
So everything, I know. Okay, so that's the one myth you want to tell everybody. You're living by the law.
Yeah.
In everything you do.
That's right.
Every single day.
Yeah.
As soon as, even whether you're in your home or you get out of your home.
Yeah.
There's something that regulates your life.
Exactly. So if you've got any legal questions, go to your friendly neighborhood lawyer, and he or she, will be able to help you.
Last question, Boy.
Sure.
If there is one piece of advice you'd give to someone currently embroiled in a he said, she said dispute,
Yeah.
what would it be?
Okay, now he said, she said, it's actually more common than you think. Very often we have that situation because most of the time when people go about our daily lives, you know, we don't, you know, make a note. Yeah. But if you have that situation, then what you should do is that once you know that there's a dispute, he said, she said, kind of dispute, then what you should do is you should make, as soon as you can, notes of what had happened, what had been discussed, because then that will help your recollection.
Okay.
Yeah. I have had many trials where, you know, it was a he said, she said situation. And in the end, the judge who is sifting through the evidence will have to decide who is the more credible party, right?
Right.
The person who can recollect better and have an explanation for why he or she is able to recollect better than the other, right? You know, apart from, you know, entirely making it up and fibbing as you on the in the witness
Stand.
in the witness stand. That person will come across as the more credible.
Okay.
Yeah. So for people who are involved in these kinds of disputes, make notes. Yeah. Even if it's long after the event, you know, just make a note and try and remember as much as you can of what had happened.
Right.
When you go through those notes again, you know, and as you talk to your lawyer, sometimes your memory is jigged. And then things come back to you.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. But before I say goodbye, I just want to read something to you and for all our viewers and listeners. This is taken from Rice Media. They had this published. I just took a little excerpt out of the entire article, which I found quite cheeky.
Right.
I mean, I feel cheeky about it. I'm going to just read this out. Psychologists, the headline is this. Kai, what's the headline? I can't see the headline.
Getting noisier.
Is Singapore getting noisier or we're feeling more stifled? That's the headline, yeah? So let me read to you this little excerpt from that article. Psychologists have observed that noise annoyance is not merely about the decibels. A 2022 study by several researchers based in the UK found that people who reported being highly noise annoyed had a 1.23 times greater risk of depression, 55% higher risk of anxiety, and an overall 119% risk of general mental health problems compared to those who are less sensitive to noise. In other words, noise annoyance may go hand in hand with mental health challenges. In Singapore, at least long work hours, high costs, and tight housing form the perfect echo chamber for irritation, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
The frustration we pin on noise often says more about how overstimulated and exhausted we already feel. So, I think we ought to just take a deep breath, everybody, be a good neighbor somehow, and also learn how to live and let live.
Yeah, I agree.
And, you know, sometimes there are, you know, neighborhood entities, commercial entities around us, they are also trying to earn a living. So let's all just take a deep breath and just live and let live. That's my take.
Yeah, words of wisdom. I agree.
Wow, he actually said that. Okay. That brings us to the end of our very first session of Legally Speaking. My thanks to our resident guest, Boey.
No, thank you.
Thank you for I hope you had fun, man.
I enjoyed this very much. Yeah.
And thank you for cutting through the noise, literally and figuratively, and legally on these disputes. Remember, everybody, that this series is about demystifying the law for you. If there's a legal topic you've been grappling with or a situation you'd like to hear Boey dissect in a future episode, we want to hear from you. Drop us a comment on our YouTube channel, CCBTV Podcasts, or reach out to us on our social media platforms. You can find me anywhere. Your question could be the focus of our next deep dive, right here on the Chris Hansen Conversation. Until next time, know your rights, understand the landscape, and stay informed. This is Chris Hansen. See you again next Friday for our next episode. And I think that one is going to be about what series, Kai? Are you sure? I love my job. And see you guys same time, 8 p.m., same channel. Bye-bye. The Chris Hansen Conversation. Real talk, no filters. And a growing community of more than 100,000 subscribers across ASEAN. Right here from Singapore.